The crisp autumn air carried the scent of wood smoke and fallen leaves, normally a comfort to Marcus Ellison. It reminded him of quiet nights with a warm drink in hand, watching his daughter Ava laugh in front of the fireplace. But this year, the scent felt bitter, like something had soured the very air around him. Every breath burned with the weight of frustration and helplessness he couldn't quite shake. Across the street, Janet Holloway paced the sidewalk like a royal guard inspecting her domain. Clipboard clutched to her chest like a scepter, eyes scanning every detail with exhausting precision. She moved as though she were president of a nation rather than the homeowners association of Rosewood Meadows. And in a way, she was. The name Rosewood Meadows had conjured images of peace, of a welcoming, tree-lined haven far removed from the chaos of the city. That dream had drawn Marcus and his wife, Camille, to the neighborhood. Their daughter, Ava, was 12, clever, resilient, and radiant in the way only children with old souls could be. Ava had contracted a viral illness when she was a toddler. It left her with a permanent spinal condition, and she had used a wheelchair ever since. They'd come to Rosewood Meadows hoping for quiet, for understanding, for normalcy. Ava deserved that. She faced more every day than most adults did in a week's social challenges, physical barriers, the fatigue of moving through a world not built for her. Home was supposed to be a sanctuary. Instead, they got Janet Holloway. The president of the HOA ruled not by kindness or collaboration, but through tyranny, using bylaws like weapons and her position like a throne. Her authority bled into every yard, every flower bed, every inch of sidewalk. And when Marcus installed a professionally built accessibility ramp for Ava, Janet declared war. The ramp, built to ADA standards by a well-reviewed contractor, was no eyesore. It was a necessity. Marcus, who worked as a law clerk for Justice Wilburn at the state's highest court, knew the laws well. He had filed permits, submitted architectural diagrams, even added photos and brochures with his HOA request. Everything was done by the book. But the Architectural Review Committee was a formality. Janet chaired it. The other members followed her like shadows. Months went by without a response, until a single letter arrived. It granted a 6-month temporary variance, a laughable ruling for a permanent medical need. Worse, it included a clause allowing the HOA to revoke the permission at any time, without explanation. Marcus read it again and again. It wasn't approval, it was a threat dressed in formality. Camille, a landscape designer with an eye for beauty, had tried to find compromise. She offered ideas: planters, trellises, greenery to blend the ramp into the house's facade. Janet refused, scoffing at the notion. "We don't disguise deviations, Mrs. Ellison. We remove them." Still, they held onto the ramp. Ava needed it. The neighbors, in hushed voices, shared their own frustration: price-gouging mailbox mandates, absurd decoration rules, fines for trash cans left out an hour late. But no one challenged Janet. Her retaliation was swift and unrelenting, and so the tension simmered. One quiet Tuesday, Marcus left early for court. Camille had a career-defining presentation across town. Ava was safely at school. The house was empty. Janet chose that morning to act. She arrived with a handyman, a timid man with a toolbox and downcast eyes. Her sedan parked at the cul-de-sac's end, clipboard in hand, expression grim. Neighbors watched from behind curtains as the man hesitated near the ramp, staring at the bolts and would like it might bite him. "Just do it," Janet barked. "Authorization is clear." The sound of the power saw shattered the morning silence. Blades screeched through wood and metal. Mr. Weller, the elderly veteran next door, dropped his watering can in shock. He rushed toward the property line, but Janet stopped him mid-lawn. "HOA business," she snapped. "Do not interfere." He faltered, unsure. What if she fined him? What if she was right? And so, ashamed, he stepped back. Within minutes, the ramp was gone, loaded into the handyman's truck like stolen furniture. All that remained was a jagged edge and a sudden dropan, invisible hazard no one would see until it was too late. At 3:05 p.m., Ava came home. Laughing with her friend Mia, she wheeled confidently down the sidewalk. Her thoughts were on a science project, on cookies, on the simple joys of the day. She turned onto her walkway, hands pushing her wheels with practiced grace. Then the drop. Her front wheels met air. The chair tipped forward violently. Ava screamed. She hit the concrete hard. Her wheelchair clattered beside her. Mr. Weller heard it and ran. Mrs. Kim across the street followed, her face white. But Janet was already there. Stay back, she commanded, stepping between Ava and the neighbors like a bodyguard. This is a private family matter. She's hurt. Mrs. Kim Kudit. She should have been more careful, Janet replied coldly. That ramp was unauthorized. The structure posed a liability risk. You did this, mister, Weller said, his voice trembling with rage. You made them take it down. I was enforcing HOA policy, Janet said stiffly, adjusting her blazer. They were notified, but they weren't. As if summoned by the universe, Marcus's car rolled into the driveway. His tired smile vanished the moment he saw his daughter lying broken on the pavement. He didn't speak. He didn't argue. He stepped around Janet and dropped to his knees beside Ava. I'm here, baby. Don't move. Just breathe. Her wrist was twisted, swelling fast. Marcus kept his voice calm. Mrs. Kim, please call 911. Tell them it's a fall from a porch due to unauthorized removal of accessibility structure. Possible compound fracture. The ambulance arrived minutes later. Janet was still talking, demanding that officers take note of the expired variants and the liability. But Marcus had stopped listening. He climbed into the ambulance with Ava, tablet already out, fingers flying. He drafted a motion for an emergency restraining order against Janet Holloway. He cited ADA violations, injury to a minor, destruction of medically necessary equipment. He attached photos, the HOA letter, and witness testimony. He sent it to a senior court clerk, bypassing normal filing delays. He made calls. Quietly, professionally. The legal system, his system, began to move. The next morning, while Janet reviewed her meeting notes, 2 sheriff's deputies arrived. They handed her the order. She was to stay 500 feet from the Ellisons and their property. She could not touch any HOA documents related to the case. Then came the warrant. Her home office, the de facto HOA headquarters, was searched. Laptops, flash drives, and minutes from meetings all seized. Her neighbors watched as deputies carried out boxes. The power saw was confiscated, too. Later that day, Mr. Weller submitted his doorbell camera footage to the news. The footage went viral. Janet, pointing, ordering the ramp's destruction. The saw buzzing. Ava's scream echoing hours later. Justice for Ava trended by nightfall. The handyman confessed everything. Janet had told him she had board approval. She pressured him to act while the family was gone. He was now a cooperating witness. Marcus, meanwhile, sent a detailed memo to the state's Judicial Oversight Committee. He raised questions of abuse of power. He included legal citations, confirmed that the ramp permit was valid and permanent, and exposed Janet's complete lack of authority. The Bar Association opened an ethics investigation. And then the arrest. Janet Holloway, once untouchable queen of Rosewood Meadows, was booked into county jail. At her bail hearing, the judge reviewed video footage, Ava's injury photos, witness statements, and Marcus's affidavit. The judge denied bail. The destruction of necessary medical equipment resulting in a child's injury, she said sternly, demonstrates a chilling disregard for human life. This court cannot risk further harm. Janet's mask shattered. She was led from the courtroom in cuffs. Her clipboard left behind. The HOA board met in emergency session. They suspended Janet immediately, issued a public apology, and vowed sweeping reforms. Training on ADA law became mandatory. Residents voted to revise the bylaws completely. A month later, a gleaming new aluminum ramp was installed at the Ellison home, safe, durable, and beautiful. Ava, now healing, navigated it easily. Her cast was covered in doodles from friends. That evening, Marcus stood on the porch with Camille, cider mugs in hand. Ava rolled up to join them, her smile returning. The battle wasn't over. Janet faced multiple felony charges, and the civil suits would follow. But justice had arrived. Not vengeance, justice. And home finally felt like home again.